What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. Friday, August 7th, and we are talking UFC Vegas 120, Mateusz Gamrot versus Quinlan Salkill. Excited to be back. We had a great week last week. We went up plus 5.5 units for UFC Belgrade last week, so looking to kind of keep that momentum up. You know what I'm saying? Start rolling downhill, start stacking the winning weeks together. Yeah, man. So I'm excited. Another episode of Bad Decisions. I believe this is episode 26, man. So I'm excited. Not the best card, but we're gonna do what we always do, which is break the card down, try to find value, and try to make some money, man. So thank you guys for being here. Whether you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter, appreciate you guys. My man Murray's in the chat. The James Bond theme goes crazy, man. That's such a slapper, bro. I was super young, but I was still playing 007 on Nintendo 64 and shit. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I got about 45 minutes, an hour before have to watch my son. So we're gonna try to get in, get out. I don't have a ton of fights to talk about. Like I said, it's I don't want to say tricky card, a little bit of a tricky card, man. I think we had like 9 or 10 fights, and then a couple got added late. We had a fight, changed last minute. It's just a weird card, man. Tricky card back at the Apex. So yeah, man, hit that like button. I try to get you guys in, get you guys out. What else? Yesterday we made a huge announcement as well on my Twitter. So the link, if you're watching on YouTube, the link to my Twitter is down in the description. So go check that out. It's pinned on my profile. Yeah, man, I think that's it. So without further ado, get the card up. I don't have graphics this week again, which pisses me off. It's my fault, but extremely busy week. I promise you guys they'll be back next week. Let me get this going. So which one? Here we go. All right. So let's kick off this card, man. Thank you guys for being here. And bye. Okay. So like I said, we're not going to talk about every single fight, but this first fight I am kind of interested in, man. It's a very interesting, I will say, women's strawweight bout kicking off UFC Vegas 120. Gigi Canuto versus Carol Foro. Let me get you guys the most updated lines. It's kind of tricky. Not, props for this fight aren't widely available, so that's a little bit tough. Right now, see, I don't even have it here. Let me go to fight odds. So Furrow, sizable favorite, anywhere from minus 250 to minus 265 market wide. The comeback on Gigi Canuto plus 210. There's some plus 230s out there, so around that range. Interesting fight, man. Furrow's coming off making an absolute statement on Dana White's Contender Series, fighting Chanel Dyer, who I think is going to be, pick up wins in the UFC. I think she's going to be a problem and beat a lot of girls in the UFC. And that was Furrow's toughest test by far. So to come into the Contender Series and not only fight the toughest girl you've ever fought, but to fight like that and, put on that type of fight, just extremely impressive, man. Extremely impressive. And she kind of showed what she's about, man. Super tough. Kind of a Jessica Andrade slash, shades of like a small Norma Dumont type of girl. Relentless pressure, crazy power in her hands. She's going to get in your face. She's a little pit bull, man. And I like the versatility, man. She goes to the body a ton, which I like. Very rare in general with MMA boxing, but especially in WMMA. Goes to the body a ton. Vicious calf kick. And like I said, man, lunch boxes for hands, bro. She has shown her power on the regionals. And like I said, in that Chanel Dyer fight, hurt Chanel multiple times in that fight. So yeah, man, Carol is not to be fucked with, man. I think she's a real player in the strawweight division. But with that said, man, the prices are everything. We bet prices, and I haven't bet Gigi yet. I'm waiting for props to drop and kind of see what those prices are looking like. But I mean, I think this line is wide, bro. I think there's a lot of recency bias on both sides in this line, and with the way the public is viewing a fight like this, a lot of people like me, I'm included in those people. A lot of people like Foro a lot, um, but I think there are parts of her game that are still very unproven. I know she fought Dyer, which, like I said, was a very much a step up in competition, but that's pretty much it. Not a ton of these girls she's fighting on the regionals are good in my opinion. And now she's facing a completely different test. So I can give her props and glaze her as much as I want for the Chanel Dyer fight, but it's just a completely different fight. This fight, Gigi. So in terms of the recency bias, Carol coming off the amazing Contender Series fight, and Gigi coming off Ultimate Fighter. The first fight she had, she ran through the chick in like 30, 40 seconds. But this last fight, the fight that got her eliminated, was a tough look, man. Kind of gassed out at the end of round one. Start round two, still completely gassed, and just kind of withered, man. Was not a good look, but we'll get into that a little bit more. So Gigi kind of coming off a really bad look, and Carol coming off a really fucking good look. And I think that's baked a little bit too much into the line. I'm in the business of buying low, selling high. And, so we spoke about kind of skill for skill on the Carol side, what she does best. We've seen her, you know, there's limited footage of her defending true grappling threats, true wrestling threats. You know what I'm saying? Just like Jessica Andrade, she's small, compact, good sprawl and brawl type of style from what I've seen, the limited footage that I've seen, but still very much untested. And that's where kind of Gigi comes in. Gigi, a world-class grappler, nasty grappler, man, elite. Once this fight gets to the mat, she's still extremely young. So again, we're watching her in some of these fights, these regional fights, she's 20, 21 years old. On tough, still 23 years old, very, very young, improving fight to fight. But that's where she really shines. That's where she makes her money, is on the mat. Extremely gifted grappler, but still improving, man. And that's where this price, I really don't agree with, man. I think this price is wide. Like I said, Carol still very unproven with the wrestling grappling, in my opinion. So going back to the tough fight, again, not a great look, but a couple things about that fight. Um, Janena Silva, I think much better wrestler grappler. At least, I mean, I don't know. Carol can fucking shock me, I guess, but at least from what I've seen, much better wrestling grappler than Faro, in my opinion. And I just don't think, I think Silva is a good fighter. I think she's a good level of competition. So I don't know how many, like, if that first round plays out the way it does 10 times, like, how many times did Gigi finish that fight? I think she finishes a lot of girls in that sequence. She was doing her thing in the striking, competing a little bit in the striking, but got the takedown and, threatened armbar at least 2 or 3 times. And every single time she did, man, them shits were deep as fuck. And fucked Silva's arm up. Silva's arm, I didn't watch, like, I haven't been keeping up with Tough. I watched the episodes because Gigi was on it and I had to tape it, but Silva's arm was fucked up. That she was kind of holding it. It was like, it wasn't in a sling, but she was holding it like in her shirt. Immediately after the fight was done, you could tell her arm was fucked up. So Gigi definitely did damage, might have torn some ligaments or whatever the fuck. Again, I don't know what the outcome was, but like I said, I just don't know how many women go through that storm and don't tap and come out on the other side and don't get finished in round one, man. So if Gigi finishes that fight in round one, what do these odds look like? I think they're a lot closer than, Gigi kind of giving it all she had, blowing her load in round one, and then being completely gassed in round two and getting finished, not because of a skill gap, not because she's not tough or anything like that, just because she's gassed. But I'm confident enough, and I've seen enough to say that was a kind of like an anomaly. A stunt. I don't know what you want to call it. I've seen her go like you see on the screen, that the last fight, the Janela Silva fight, um, cardio looked amazing. You know, even at the end of round two in that fight, a very high pace fight. A lot of that fight took place on the feet. You know, a very high volume, high pace striking fight. Uh, Kind of a war with, you know, Gigi having a lot of success in that fight, standing, winning the fight for the most part on the feet, even though she is a grappler. And at the end of round two, she's like hyping up the crowd. She's excited, man. She's like licking the blood off her fucking hands, and she's a savage, man. She's an absolute fucking savage. I know we didn't see that in the last fight in Tough, but that wasn't the first example. This Jamie Conley Miller fight, also a 3 round decision. Um, Looked really good cardio wise in that fight too. So I think that was way more one off than a cardio shitty. You know, I didn't get a chance to watch this 5 round fight, that 5 round decision that she lost, but I heard her talk about it. You know, she described that fight as a war. I just couldn't find a fight. She described that fight as a war. So if that's another high paced kind of back and forth fight, and she's going 5 rounds, I mean, I think she's more than proven herself. So still 23 years old. She's going to be making giant leaps, fight the fight. I love her attitude. I love how she approaches the game. Um, you know, what I've heard a lot this week is, you know, her cardio shit and her striking is dog shit. I just don't believe those things. I don't agree with those things. I think her cardio is a lot better than what she showed on her last Tough fight. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was I don't know, man. Maybe, I don't fucking know, but it was a complete difference from what I've seen on her regional. So, um, I also don't think, I think she's, listen, Carol's the better striker, more power, more technical striker. Let's not get that twisted. But Gigi is serviceable on the feet, man. She's not gonna want to spend 15 minutes there in a fight like this. I think she's gonna get hurt if she does that. But I think she has a really really good jab, really good left hook. Just like Carol, she targets the calf a decent amount, pretty heavy calf kicks too. So still developing, man. Like she's pretty athletic. Um, and in a fight like this, like sometimes she has trouble getting takedowns when girls are kind of skirting on the outside. It'll take her a second. Uh, but Carol doesn't fight that way. Carol is, you know, pedal to the metal, front foot, heavy pressure type of style. And I think that's going to play too easily into what Gigi does. Carol also likes to kick a ton. That's going to leave openings for Gigi to catch kicks or Carol to slip or whatever the case is, man. It's WMMA and shit. Um, but yeah, man. So I think the way Carol fights, I think that's going to play into what Gigi wants to do. I think Gigi can get in close, you know, get a body lock, work from there, maybe standing back take, uh, you know, maybe a throw of some sort off the body lock. I think she can get takedowns. You know, I'm very interested to see props in this fight. I don't know if I want to play the money line, you know, even though it's plus 230, plus 215, whatever it is, because I respect Carol so much. And, you know, like I said, Gigi is a savage, man. You listen to her talk, like she's talking like, yeah, I know my coaches want me to do this and want me to do that, but that's not fun, you know. I like having fun. Like I like, you know, she said in one of her regional fights, she was like, yeah, I told my manager before this, she's like, I'm not gonna grapple at all. I'm just gonna strike. Like I love that shit as a fan, but I don't love that as a bettor, you know. And so I think there's a possibility, you know, that happens and it's turns into kind of a brawl. And like I said, I don't favor Gigi in a fight like that. Um, but she also talked in this camp about being a smarter fighter, you know, finding that combination of wanting to brawl and wanting to show a toughness and being smart. So listen, I think she's a smart girl, still very young. I think she has good coaching around her. Um, the game plan is obvious. So I'm interested to see what the takedown line is for Gigi. I'm interested to see what, you know. Let me check fight odds real quick because it's not on FanDuel, which usually has some of the best prices. But um, so GG by sub is plus 400. Where are these prices at though? Bet Rivers, Hard Rock. GG GG round one plus 750. Why can't I fucking scroll? There we go. Plus 750. BetMGM, Hard Rock, Bet Rivers. Canuto. Round one sub 900. So pretty close to the round one prop. Yeah, I want FanDuel to drop, man. If I can get like a plus 1,000 round one sub. Canuto round two sub is 1,300 in the market right now. That's what interests me, man. I like those. If for some reason the books, DraftKings or I check Bet Online real quick. They usually go with takedown props. And I'm sorry. I know I've spent a lot of time on this fight, but it's a very interesting fight, man. Very interesting. I think there is possibilities to make a lot of money in this fight. So I want to make sure I do my due diligence. So takedown. So GG over 1.5 takedowns minus 120. Like, I don't mind that too much. I was hoping the books would slip and put like a half a takedown, even if it was minus 200. Like I would play that shit, but GG's good enough on the ground to obviously end this fight with one takedown. So I don't know if I want to risk that too much. 1.5, I definitely wanted some plus money. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what DraftKings drops. That's what I'm looking at. 4 is going to be tested in these areas, wrestling, grappling, more than she's ever been. So there's still questions. And laying this heavy of a price, I don't want any questions. So I truly think Gigi's the money line side. I think she's a lot better than what she showed on Tough. I think she's going to show that in this fight and really, really test Foro. So Foro can hurt Gigi and do a lot of damage in this fight. I'm not counting that out. That's why she's a big favorite in this spot. But in terms of value, betting wise, I like Gigi on the money line, but I'm way more likely to get to, Gigi round one sub, Gigi round two sub, and taking huge plus money stabs. I know, some smart people playing the under 2.5 and things like that. I don't know. And I get it. I can see clear, very, very clear finishing pass for both ladies, but I don't want to lay minus 180, minus 190 on a WMMA fight to not go. So, my man Archie's in the chat. What's good, my brother? Congrats on the new channel. Let's make some bread. Appreciate you, my guy. Been showing love for as long as I can remember. So, big shout out to you, my guy. Thank you for watching. All right, that's enough of that fight, man. Interesting, though. Dog hunting for sure to open the card. Next fight, Juliana Miller versus Ravena Oliveira. I actually do have interest in this fight. I do have official bets in this fight already. Let me get there. So I played Oliveira round 1 KO plus 1,200, round 2 KO plus 1,800, and I played her decision plus 700. So each for a quarter unit, just smaller stabs. Another similar thoughts, man. I think the line is wide. Juliana Miller minus 300. I mean, it should be automatic jail time. Automatic jail time. So, what's good with this record, man? I could have sworn she was 4-4. What's up with that? Where did I see that shit? Maybe they count the. Oh yeah, So ESPN's counting this semifinal when shouldn't be counted. So she's 4-4 professionally, not 5-4. But yeah, man, Juliana Miller minus 300. Like, come on, man. I know Ravena kind of stinks, and she's shown some holes in the wrestling grappling. But first of all, she's not like a complete fish off the mat. She's not complete dog shit. We see people that once their back hits the mat, they are absolutely clueless. That is not the case with Ravena Oliveira. Is she a good grappler and wrestler? No. Is Juliana Miller the better grappler? Absolutely, by miles. But is that enough to make Juliana minus 300? I don't know, man. I don't know. For as wide as the gap in the grappling is, I think the gap in the striking is just as big or close, at least, in my opinion. We've seen Ravena kind of try to offensively wrestle a lot in her fights. Obviously, you don't want to be doing that here. Hopefully, she's not dumb enough to do that consistently, but I think she carries a decent amount of power in her hands, especially for women's flyweight. I think she has a decent amount of power, man, and that's obviously what she's gonna want to do in this fight. How you want to attack Juliana Miller? Juliana Miller's striking is just some of the worst I've ever seen. Respectfully, very very respectfully. Her striking defense is non-existent. The way she enters the pocket is just extremely reckless, man. She is a complete liability on the feet. Anybody in this division can. I don't want to say anybody. That may be a little disrespectful because we've seen her fight some pretty tough girls. Carly Judice, I think, is a real player in this division. I have a lot of respect for Carly Judice. I have a lot of respect for Veronica Hardy too. I think she's a really good fighter. She lost to both of those girls, but lost by decision. But that's the thing. Excuse me. But that's the thing. Like, you look at this resume right here, right? Like, none of these girls have power. Like, Luana's probably the heaviest hitter, but she's a grappler. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of these chicks have power. Carly Judice is her nickname is Crispy for a reason, man. She's a crispy striker, high volume striker, but she finishes girls with attrition, not power. Petrovic, grappler. Santos, grappler. Veronica Hardy, pillow fist. Brogdon Walker, fucking LOL. Come on. None of these girls have power. Ravenna Oliveira has more power than all of these girls, in my opinion. So that's the real threat in this fight. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm not gonna fucking go on and on about this fight. Juliana's a big favorite for a reason. Can I see Oliveira getting submitted? Absolutely. I mean, that's the squarest, clearest result. That's why Juliana Miller by sub is like even money. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I don't think there's value in that, even though that's the most likeliest outcome. So yeah, I'm not gonna play Ravenna on the money line, even though it's a big number, because of those deficiencies in her game. I want to take big plus money stabs, and that's what we're doing here. So round 1 KO, 12-1. Round 2 KO, 18-1. And then if it's a more moments over minutes, maybe it's more of a slower round 1. Juliana does not mind to brawl, and that's another thing. We've seen it over and over again. We've seen it in the Veronica Hardy fight. We saw it in the Luana fight, which got her knocked the fuck out. She does not mind brawling in the fucking pocket, and if that's the case, I think Ravenna can knock her the fuck out or just swing rounds, swing moments. So the decision at plus 700, that's why I played that as well. I don't want to get fucked just playing the KO and then she wins the decision and I miss out on some big money. So that's how I see that fight playing out. Some scintillating back-to-back fucking WMMA to kick off the card. No action in this fight. The Miles Johns and Rosas fight was already put together on short notice, but Rosas had to pull out. There's a new opponent. 3 days notice, I think. No, thank you. This next fight, though, I do have interest in. Manuel Sosa versus Richie Miranda. Current odds. Let me get those for you. So Manuel anywhere from minus 300 to minus 325. The comeback on Richie, plus 240 to plus 250. I like Sosa here. He's a giant favorite. Although I think he's gonna cover that price because I think he's gonna fucking sleep Richie Miranda. I want to find more value. Obviously, that's what we want to do. So I played the double chance for Manuel Sosa. I played KO or point. I just fucking realized I spelled his name wrong in my shit. Let me fix that. There we go. So I played Manuel Sosa double chance KO or decision minus 200. I played Sosa round 1 KO plus 500. And I played Sosa round 2 KO at plus 650, all on FanDuel. I think that minus 200 has a shit ton of value. You take $1 off the money line price. I think there's a world in which he subs Richie. He's definitely no slouch on the mat, but I think the likelihood of that is low enough to play a prop like this. It is riskier, hence the better price. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he subs him, but like I said, I think Richie goes night night, which may be a slight hot take. I mean, Richie's never been finished. Um, so yeah, man, Richie, big respect to a guy like Richie, man. LFA champ, one of the only LFA lightweights to defend a belt more than one time. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he did it. And very gritty, man. Epitome of a gritty fighter. Sorry, I'm catching like a fucking brain fart. I'm trying to get to my notes and shit. But yeah, gritty as fuck. Gritty as fuck. I think that's the best way to describe a guy like Richie Miranda. All gas, no brakes, very intimidating pressure, great cardio, very, very tough. Like I said, never been finished. And very, very experienced, man. Not only does he have 14 professional pro fights. I said professional pro fights. What the fuck? Not only does he have 14 pro fights, a lot of amateur fights too. I think he has like close to 10 amateur fights. So very experienced guy. Which, coming into the UFC, sometimes we see 5-0, 6-0 guys coming into the UFC. Richie's not one of those dudes. Very experienced, and like I said, LFA champ. He's faced some pretty good guys too. It's not just old cans, like we see with some debutants. So LFA champ. So very, very experienced, which can be very valuable coming into the UFC. Enough cardio and pressure to absolutely break motherfuckers who can't match that pace. We've seen him do that multiple times. A lot of that was early in his career. We've seen kind of as he steps up in competition, we've kind of seen him go to decision a bit more, but still break some dudes. He broke that Robert dude in his last fight. So yeah, man, a lot of things to like. Richie's a fun fighter to watch. But that's kind of where the pros end for me. A guy like on the other side, Manuel Sosa. I think Manuel can be a true player in this division at 55, man. I think he is very good, man. I think we can see him ranked, top 15, dare I say top 10 in a fucking Shark Tank that is lightweight division. Maybe I'm overrating him a little bit. I don't know. Time will tell. But physical freak, athletic freak, hits like a fucking truck. Just a fucking specimen. Pause. Absolute fire hydrant. It's like fighting a fucking a bureau. It's like fighting a fucking refrigerator in your house. It's just a very tough guy to stand across from. And usually guys with this type of build, I know his picture isn't fucking on here, but go look Manuel Sosa. A guy who's usually built like that with those type of attributes, the way he fights, throwing everything in every fucking punch. Usually guys like that gas, you can't really rely on their cardio. This is not the case. Manuel is not one of those guys. Great cardio, carries the same power, the same cardio for 15 straight minutes. And another thing we kind of don't see with guys like that, big power punchers, is technique. And Manuel has that too. Manuel, not overly technical. He can definitely get sloppy and brawl at sometimes, but a lot of technique mixed in with that power and raw ability. Good straight punches, good hooks, mixes it up decently well, throws in combinations. So we're starting to talk about a very dangerous Molotov cocktail of fucking fighting abilities. You know what I'm saying? Devastating power, great cardio, and good technique, man. That's very hard to deal with. And on top of that, enough wrestling and grappling, like I hinted to earlier, to kind of dictate where fights goes, where fights stay, keep fights upright, and do what he does best, which is knock motherfuckers out. Enough athleticism and power to kind of fend off guys that want to sniff his crotch and want to wrestle grapple. So again, we've seen him taken down. It hasn't been super hard to take this guy down, but it has been super hard to keep this guy down. So Richie, like I said, pressure, wants to get in your face, mix it up. Strike with you, change levels, strike with you again, change levels, you get up, knee you, punch you, change levels again. I don't think that's going to work in a fight like this. I don't. I think even if he gets Manuel down, I think Manuel can work his way up technically. I think he can work his way up just via pure explosiveness and athleticism. and Richie's just way too fucking hittable. That's the bottom line in this fight. I already glazed Manuel enough and his power and ability. That plus how hittable Richie is equals sleep, night. You know what I'm saying? I think it's that simple. Richie is extremely hittable. He's been able to get away with that. You know, we look at his resume, been able to get away with that, but you know, he's getting hurt in a lot of these fucking fights too. This Agnew fight, I don't think Agnew's really that good. He got buzzed in that fight. He got hurt in the Richie Lewis fight. He got hurt in this Robert fight, bad in the first round, bad, or might have been second round. I can't remember, but he's getting hurt. But you know, the cardio and conditioning and durability to recover and break guys and still win these fights. So shout out to him. But Manuel is by far the hardest hitter, strongest, most powerful guy Richie's faced, and I think that's going to be a gigantic fucking problem. So, you know, maybe you could say the line is wide or whatever the case is, but is it going to be wide when in round two, fucking Richie's looking up at the lights, wondering what the fuck happened? I don't think so. So, I think Manuel catches him with a devastating hook, puts him down, and closes the motherfucking show, and I think the ref pulls him off. Manuel can be a little bit patient. I think Richie's game plan is going to be similar to what he does: push forward, kind of back him up against the cage, maybe some cage clinch, you know, aim to wear him down, knee him, shit like that. Kind of take the explosiveness away, and maybe the minutes start to melt off. But I think 10 minutes is more than enough for Manuel to find that chin, man. And it's not like Miranda's going to make it tough. You know, like I said, Miranda's style kind of plays right into what Manuel wants to do. So whether Manuel's on the front foot or the back foot, I think he's dangerous in both areas, and I think he's gonna knock Richie the fuck out. So yeah, KO or points minus 200. Round 1 KO plus 500 quarter unit, and round 2 KO plus 650 quarter unit. Sutherland fight I have no interest in. I mean, Sutherland is like minus 200. I think that's crazy. We just haven't seen a lot from this guy, man. Not a lot of tape on this guy available. And, you know, I usually don't have a problem finding whatever, you know, tape is available. I usually can find that shit. Just not a lot of tape, man. Very unproven. A lot of questions still to be answered. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. So, pass. This next fight, I mean, interestingly enough, I'm probably going to have interest in this fight as well. Dior Nurgazai, I believe is how you pronounce it, versus Bruno Lopez. The most current odds, DR minus 155 to minus 160. The comeback on Bruno is plus 130 to plus 140. Do I have any fucking water here? No, of course not. I have soda that's like 8 hours old. Yes, I was drinking soda at fucking 11 a.m. Sue me. What was I saying? Bruno Lopez, DR Negazai. Yeah, man. I don't know how many guys I'm gonna want to lay chalk against with DR. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many guys are there in this division? A light heavyweight, very volatile division. Are you gonna be wanting to lay minus 150 with DR? I don't think with Bruno, man. I don't think with Bruno. I think this line is wide. I would make Bruno a slight favorite. So I haven't played it yet, but if I would make Bruno minus 115, then I obviously should play plus 150. Obviously some red flags, man. Bruno, I don't know if he's chinny. I think he's hittable. I think his striking defense is very poor. I don't think his process on the feet is too good, which is why he's finding himself kind of lost a lot, you know, in the pocket and with his footwork, and he's getting touched up and shit like that. But I still think he has a lot of advantages in this fight, man. What DR does best is fight from range. You know, DR, if you stay at, you know, distant kickboxing range with DR for 15 minutes, you're going to lose. You know, you're going to lose. And, you know, we've seen it on some of his fights, even fights that he's gotten finished. You know, it's This Uran fight, yeah, we saw that a little bit early. I know the fight only lasted 3 minutes, but early we saw that in round one of the Tobias fight, just kind of absolutely eating Tobias up from range. So yeah, that's what he does best. But I mean, that's kind of it. That's kind of it. Some of the worst grappling I've ever seen. Very very bad submission defense. I mean, people love talking about this Ribeiro fight because it was so hilarious. You get fucking Kimura by Brendan Ribeiro from bottom. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just fucking crazy. But what kind of flies under the radar because of the finish is that he lost round one in that fight too. He got dropped in round one in that fight. Bad. Um, you know, just very bad scenes, man. So good minute winner. Again, if he's at range, piecing you up, good high kicks, throws pretty hard. I don't think he has a lot of power at all, which we'll talk about. But um, yeah, man, just that's really it. When he's not winning minutes, he's giving up huge fucking moments. Like I said, got dropped, lost round one to Ribeiro, gets finished from bottom the minute they touch the fucking ground. This Salty Badia fight, that guy's a fucking middleweight, moved up to light heavyweight, gets dropped by this guy too, and then Uran gets on top of him and fucking Ezekiel chokes him, bro. And it's just some of the saddest scenes from DR. It's just crazy, man. Like, he had no idea what to do. He just started flailing. Once Uran locked it in, it took him like 30 seconds to finish that shit. Somewhere, and fucking DR is just flailing like this, just patiently waiting to get choked out. It was just crazy, man. And like I said, also got dropped before that. The Rafael Tobias fight. Fucks Rafael. Tobias is not UFC level in my opinion. He fucks Tobias up in round one, and then round two gets dropped bad by Tobias. Tobias immediately gets on top, immediately mounts him. Probably had a great chance to finish the fight if he just elbowed his fucking head through the canvas consistently until the ref pulled him off. But Tobias made some of the worst decisions I've ever seen in that fight. He gets reversed from mount, and then proceeds to give up his back and get pounded out. And I still think he won the round because, like I said, he dropped him bad and mounted him and hurt him from mount a little bit. But, fucking 60 seconds after he drops him and mounts him, he's on all fours. DR has his back and DR's punching him in the face. It's just some of the worst fight IQ I've ever seen. So that's not good looks, man. That's every single UFC fight. He's getting rocked, dropped, easily submitted with the goofiest fucking submissions ever, like white belt shit. So yeah, I've already explained the deficiencies in Bruno's game, but he does a lot of things well too. He's a lot better in the pocket than DR is. He hits harder than DR. Better cardio, I think, than DR. I think if you give DR a distance kickboxing fight, I think his cardio holds up a bit better. But if you start to push him, the man is not a good nail. If you start to push him back, make him work, push his cardio, which Bruno does in every single one of his fights, I think Bruno can outlast him in a fight like that. Yeah, man, every single one of his fights, he causes chaos. Every single one. The Gods, I don't even know why I attempted the Magomed fight, his debut. Magomed makes it tough because he's such like a boring kickboxer, but Bruno tried. Bruno's on the front foot. Bruno's trying to bring the fight to him. Dustin Jacoby fight, Bruno brought the war to him and, got knocked out because of it, but brought the war to him. Same thing with Navajo, man. He gave Navajo a lot to handle in round one. Mixing up the wrestling, having success on the feet. I don't know if he won round one. It was Navajo probably eked it out, but still a very good fight for as long as it lasted, almost 2 full rounds. And then Navajo, who is ranked and, might be making a run in this division, knocks him out late round 2. I don't think that's a terrible loss. I don't think Dustin Jacoby is a terrible loss. Ribeiro, yes, he got dropped by like a little fucking baby jab, but Ribeiro hits hard as fuck. That's what he does. He knocks people out. So, and that's just on the feet. We've only talked about on the feet. Bruno's gonna be better in the pocket, be on the front foot more power. Uh, and on the mat, I think there's just levels to this shit. Bruno does a very good job mixing it up. Mixing in takedowns. Pretty relentless with it too. So I think that's going to be very good in this matchup. Um, Levels apart in the grappling, obviously. Bruno's. I believe Bruno's a black belt. Um, and it shows. He hasn't been able to show it fully. We've seen a lot more of that on the regionals, but I think it's a great spot to do it. And I don't think Bruno is just a. I don't think Bruno has a bad chin. I think he's just faced some tough guys, guys that hit extremely fucking hard. And now you're getting a major step down. Like before Navajo knocked him out, like he was eating big shots. Even in the Jacoby fight, like, but it was a war. For as long as it lasted, not very long, but he ate some big shots, landed some big shots, and whatever. He got put out by the better fighter, and now it takes a giant step down in competition against DR, who just, like I said, I think only succeeds in distance kickboxing. I don't think he succeeds or does well in any other facet of the game. So, and he's minus 150. So I like Bruno plus 140 on the money line. I like Bruno submission props, things like that. I think submission is more likely than him knocking DR out. I think he can hurt DR on the feet, but I think that will lead to some scrambles and more of a club and sub situation. Am I going to be shocked if Bruno knocks him out? No. But I think sub is a little bit more likely in my opinion. So I haven't played anything quite yet. I've just kind of been waiting. DR was like minus 135, I believe. Now he's minus 150. I'm going to just wait and see. But like I said at the start, man, I think Bruno should be slightly favored. So I like any plus money price next to his name. Probably, let me look at the rest. Yeah, my favorite dog on the card, I would say. Yeah, my favorite dog on the card. I like Gigi as a dog, but I like Gigi and Ravenna as a dog, but not enough to play the money lines, I don't think. So yeah, I most likely I'm 90% there with Bruno. I just want the best price I could possibly get. I'm a greedy fuck. So yeah, some more dog hunting. Hopefully Bruno doesn't get fucking dropped by a jab, or just be an idiot and give up huge moments and lose a decision. Because that will be my worst fucking nightmare right there. That will be hell for me. Looking pretty good, but just giving up huge moments and losing a decision, that's just fucking AIDS. Absolute AIDS. Next fight, heavyweight division. Steven Asplin versus Guilherme Pat. This fight is funny, man, because I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck. Sorry, motherfuckers just love to hate on. It's crazy. Motherfuckers just be all day. It's crazy. Waiting for shit to hate on. Motherfuckers just miserable. It's insanity. So very interesting fight because I feel like everything happened so fast. I think it was Monday or Tuesday I was looking at this shit, and this shit was a pick'em, dead pick'em. And then I think fucking 24 hours later, 48 hours later, Steven is minus 225, then minus 250, then minus 300. It was fucking crazy. So, the people have spoken, obviously. People love Asplin in this spot. I think the line is quite crazy. I know how Pat looked in his last fight. I bet Pat in his last fight. I remember watching that fight. I think I was on vacation and I was watching that fight, obviously screaming at my TV because I wanted Pat to do more. I still thought he won that fight, but obviously when you're getting fucking dropped by Thomas Peterson in round 3, not a good look, man. So I can't be too mad at it. So yeah, obviously that's the last time we saw him. Even in his debut, just Alan Fry is not UFC level, man. You should be, for as hyped as you were coming in, and as skilled as you were advertised to be. That's not a good look, man. Not doing enough in this fight either, and taking Alan Fry the decision, not a good look. And then obviously the Thomas Peterson fight. So very bad taste in people's mouths, especially mine from coming from a guy like I said that put harder fucking money on him. But the price is crazy, man. Come on, like Steven at -300. Yes, I think he's the better fighter. First of all, great. Seems like a great fucking guy. Like, how can you not love Steven? He fights the way he fights, absolute savage. Um, just how can you not love to watch Steven Asplin fight? You know. But even outside the octagon, seems like a very, very great guy. Like just down to earth, humble. I don't know him. I'm just based off what I've seen. Just seems like a great fucking dude. You know, seems like a great dude to smoke a blunt with and chill and watch fights. You know what I'm saying? Just seems like a great dude. So shout out to him. Um, and yeah, just very fun fighter, man. I'm never gonna miss a Steven Asman fight ever. You know, so he's definitely made a fan out of me. But those are not the type of fighters you want to lay -300 with. You know, as good as his cardio is, as tough as he is, the man is tough as fuck. Extremely tough, man. Like we've seen Vitor Petrino, who, you know, we know what he does, man. We know how dangerous Petrino is. I know he's a more natural light heavyweight, but we've seen what he could do with his hands. And Asplin ate so many fucking bombs in that fight. It was crazy. So extremely tough, extremely good cardio, especially for the pace that he puts on. Like in his last fight, the man set a fucking heavyweight strike record, man. Like, come on. Like, it's ridiculous output, ridiculous cardio to go with it, ridiculous toughness. He's the better fighter. He is the better fighter all around, in my opinion. But it's the price. It's crazy. It's crazy. Asplin is hittable. His footwork isn't the best. You know, a lot of times he's going straight in, backing up straight in a straight line. That's never good. I think I want to be careful with my fucking words. Like, I think he's a decent wrestler grappler. I don't even. I think that's too much credit. Like, I think he's okay. Like, I think he's okay at sprawling and brawling. You know what I'm saying? But I think that facet of his game is still very much unproven. I think Guilherme can at least threaten that, you know, give him something to think about. I would definitely make Steven a favorite, but for obvious reasons. He's going to put more output. His chin is probably better than Pat's. More experienced than Pat. Better level of competition than Pat. Better cardio than Pat. So, you know, I know a lot of people taking stabs at Asplin late, you know, round 2 KO, round 3 KO. That's where my mind goes to, because I think round 1 can be a little competitive. You know, Guilherme skirting the outside. You know, we've seen some guys be able to do that to Steven, you know, in the Petrino fight. That fight was a fucking war, but Petrino has success, you know, skirting the outside, pot shotting them, just moving around. I think Pat can do some of those same things, make round 1 close, maybe even steal round 1. But as this fight plays out, as we get to 7.5, 8 minutes, round 3, I think Steven starts to roll downhill. Pat starts to tire a bit. Steven starts to take over. So I don't know necessarily I don't know if that's going to lead to like a Steven decision. Like, that's my biggest thing. I'm not interested in the money line. I don't know if I like Pat money line, even though I think the line is wide. Like, just because the line is wide doesn't mean you have to play everything, you know? Like, if you think 10 lines are wide, I don't think you got to play all 10. That's just my personal opinion. But let me see what some of these lines are. Because that's the thing. Like, I don't think I'm interested in any money lines. Maybe some props. Asplin by decision, plus 175. I mean... Can y'all hear my son crying? This man is a brat. Let's check FanDuel real quick. Because last time I checked, like, even the Asplin 2 KO, 3 KO, it just wasn't great prices. Asplin 2 KO was 600, Asplin 3 KO was 1,000. I mean, I guess that's okay, like decent at best, but I don't know. I don't know how much actionable information I have. You know, I don't know. I like to give you guys bets. You know, fuck picks and, oh, look, I got these picks right. It's about bets. It's about what's going to make us bread. And I just don't know, man. I think Steven wins this fight. but I'm not comfortable laying these type of prices yet. He's proven a lot to me already, but there's enough deficiencies in his game. There's still enough question marks that I just missed the market. I got to put my hands up and say I missed the best of the line. I missed the market move. At Pick'em, if I would have did tape earlier, at Pick'em, I'm very interested. I'm very interested. So shout out to you guys who got that. You did your jobs and you're sitting pretty right now, but I already missed the best of the line. I don't think I got to force anything. So maybe a live bet opportunity, because like I said, I think Pat, at least the first 2 or 3 minutes kind of, maybe he's pot shotting them a bit and maybe the line closes a bit, you know what I'm saying? After a close first round, I think that's a good spot to jump in. But I mean, that's all I got right now. Yeah, the Discord will have all of my official action, obviously. So hit the link, look at that if you want access to that. That does it for the prelims. I'm going to try to do my best to, I only have like 15, 20 minutes for my girl. Got to go to work. So yeah, I'm going to try to speed through. Still do my due diligence, but give you guys the right information. But I'm going to try to get through these quick. So let's do it. Kicking off the main card, Billy Ray Goff versus Ty Miller. Best odds available right now. Whoops. So Ty Miller's minus 400, minus 415. The comeback on Billy Ray Goff plus 300 to plus 315. I mean, no hot takes. I can definitely see people saying that the line is wide. Ty Miller, I think, still unproven, obviously, and only 7 professional fights. Did get rocked in his last fight. Who the fuck is this? Take a survey. What the fuck? Got rocked in his last fight by Adam Fugis, so that it's not the prettiest look in the world, but so yeah, I can definitely see that argument. But I mean, I think Ty Miller wins this fight. I think he has a good chance to win it by finish. I can see him winning the decision too. Billy Ray is tough, very, very tough. But yeah, man, I mean, Ty is a really, really good boxer. Obviously, great length for welterweight, 6'2", 77-inch reach. He's gonna have a 4-inch height advantage, 5-inch reach advantage. Those things are gonna be very important in a spot like this. But very good output, very good technique, good boxer, man. Very good boxer. Mixes up levels, goes to the body, likes to put his boxing on display. Decent range manager as well. He likes to be in your face, but still kind of maintaining that perfect distance where he can hit you and try not to get hit. I don't think his striking defense is the best. I think there's a lot to kind of improve on there, but guy's 26 years old, still not even in his prime yet. Going to be getting better fight to fight. Billy's young too, but just on the Ty side. Wrestling, grappling, I think he has decent defensive wrestling, but still very much unproven versus a high level. I don't think Billy is that high level, so I don't think that is gonna matter too much in this fight. But yeah, man, I think Ty is just too long, too big, too good, too technical, boxing too good, too crisp. I think that's how he wins this fight. I think he has a chance to land, over 100 punches in this fight if we get all 15 minutes. But that's kind of how I see it, KO or decision, maybe, Ty fight starts round 2 type of situation. I'm just not 100% sure how it happens when it happens. I think he can put Billy in some very, very tough spots in round 1. I think he can do the same thing in round 3. I think he can win a decision. So that's where I struggle a little bit in this fight. But I think Ty wins. Betting wise, Ty round 3 decision, Ty 2-3 KO. That's kind of where my mind is at. Next fight, Amanda Lemos, Alexia Thainara. Alexia, big favorite. Against the best fighter she's ever fought. Minus 250 consensus. Come back on Lemos. Plus 210 to plus 225. Out of respect for Lemos, I'm gonna stay off of this fight. Like I think Alexia wins this fight. I think she's shown how much of a savage she is. How tough she is. I think she's a real fucking player at strawweight, man. I would not be shocked if she fights for a belt. I would not be shocked if we see her top 10, top 5. Like, what's Lemos ranked at this point? Uh, wait, rankings. All right, so why is this so fucking tough? So Amanda Lemos is 11. Oh wow, so yeah, Alexia is 10. What the fuck am I talking about? I thought Alexia was behind Lemos, but yeah, matchup of 10, 11, 10 and 11. Oh, it's because that's the meta rankings. Oh no, that's the media. So that was the media rankings. The meta rankings, even though who gives a shit, they have Lemos 8 and Alexia 12. So whatever. I mean, so yeah, I mean, good matchup, 10 and 9. But yeah, so yeah, that's obviously not a hot take. I see her top 5 very very soon, and I see her fighting for a belt. I really do. I think she's that skilled, savage, like a fucking Tasmanian devil in there, man. Tough, um, powerful in the hand. Not the most technical at all, with the boxing, but power in her hands. But wrestling, the wrestling grappling is her bread and butter. That's what she likes to do. We've seen Amanda have trouble with that in the past. I think Amanda's gotten better with like defending the wrestling grappling. The problem is that she's still just too overconfident. Like she's still, I don't know if it's an IQ problem or overconfidence problem. She plays around in the grappling too much. Like she'll defend and then stay in those positions and get out scrambled and get outworked in these positions. And I think that's just an IQ thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe overconfident. Maybe she just thinks she can grapple with these girls. But and the improvements she's shown is clear. I know she lost, but to make it at least tough early on Jillian earlier in that fight, to make it tough on her to not get subbed, to survive the onslaught from Tatiana Suarez. That again, I know she's losing these fights. I don't want to overrate losses, but years ago, 5, 6 years ago, she probably gets finished because of her wrestling grappling holes. But yeah, man, I think that's how Alexia wins this fight. Maybe Amanda makes it tough. Um, Maybe she could thwart some of the attacks, but I think just remaining in these positions and leaving openings for Alexia, you leave the door cracked, Alexia is gonna fucking break that door down. You know what I'm saying? She is not a girl you want to make mistakes with, but for as good as Alexia is, there's enough things to not make me want to lay minus 250, minus 275 on her. This is the best girl she's ever fought. A girl that can kind of match her like size and physicality in there. You know what I'm saying? And Alexia can be hit. She's very reckless on these entries. So it's also a Brazil on Brazil crime. So I don't know if like Alexia was, looked up to Amanda. It's one of those type of situations. Now she's fighting her fucking idol. Alexia doesn't really seem like that type of girl. Like I said, Tasmanian devil. She seems like an absolute savage once the cage door locks. But you never know. So yeah, Amanda is 39, man, and I do favor Alexia in this spot. Like I said, I think I made that clear, but the price is just keeping me away. So when I'm being asked to lay this price, and this is a big step up in competition, best girl you ever faced, probably with the most power you've ever seen, a girl that could kind of match your physicality, as a brand new test. So I think this is a kind of wait and see spot for me. Just watch, take notes, you know what I'm saying, and just watch as a fan. Darren Elkins, Yadier Delval. Delval's like minus 800. This is Darren Elkins' retirement fight. Shout out to you, Darren Elkins. You're probably not watching this, but I'm still going to fucking shout you out, my guy. It's been a fucking pleasure watching you fight. Very rarely, if ever, do you get a Darren Elkins boring fight. You know what I'm saying? He's going to lay it on the fucking line. The damage for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He earned that motherfucking nickname. So shout out to you. 41, gonna be 42 fight professional career. That is nothing to scoff at. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, my man Darren. I hope you enjoy retirement. And he said his wife is not gonna let him do any stupid shit like BKFC or anything like that. So hopefully that stays that way. But yeah, man. I mean, Elkins 42 years old. Yadier, the much younger fighter. I think he wins. Obviously, he's minus 800. I think he finishes, but it's just about where the value is. Am I gonna take Yadier by sub at fucking, like, what is it now? Yadier by sub plus 250, plus 290 on FanDuel. I mean, I guess that's a decent price, but is he the? Do I want that short of a price when he's not even a better grappler in this spot? No, you know what I'm saying. Like I think it's clear after his last fight. I know he made everybody think his grappling was crazy because you know the rigged fight against fucking Dogarian, but you know very different scenes in his last fight, getting thoroughly out grappled, thoroughly out wrestled. So Darren Elkins is the better grappler, better scrambler in the spot. So I don't know. That makes me not know how to play this fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's a Yadier round one, round two spot, but even still, that's like minus 150. How does he get it done? Probably by KO. Like, how is he gonna sub Darren? I don't know if he even wants to be fucking around in those spots. Maybe he gets overconfident like he was in the fucking in the what's his guy's name? The twerker. Um, Levitt, Jordan Levitt. Yeah, so I don't know if he's just gonna be overconfident and be like an asshole and be like, oh, I can scramble with this guy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much interest. Like I want to invest because there's a 12 fucking year age gap, and Darren, you know, bleeds if you fucking whisper in his ear. You know what I'm saying? So I want to invest in that. I don't know how right now. So pass as of right now. Similar things with this co-main, man. I can't believe there's a co-main event. Diego Ferreira versus Billy Quarantillo. Current odds, Diego minus 175. So money's slowly but steadily been, you know, coming in on that Diego side. Minus 180 on DraftKings. Comeback on Billy is plus 145 to plus 160. I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of question marks in this fight. Both guys kind of past their prime a bit. You know, Diego being 41, Billy 37. Both guys clearly not in their prime anymore. Billy 2-year layoff. He had major knee surgery. Also had a kid, so that probably like levels it out, right? Knee surgery, having a baby, like new dad strength, probably levels each other out. I don't know. Y'all let me know. But yeah, 2 years away, and then on Diego's side, like I just he looks great until he doesn't. You know, now he's 41 years old. He's just a terrible nail, man. The cardio is not there, and I don't know, such a confusing fight. Like I want to play unders in this fight for obvious reasons, but this just seems like a fight where under seems like so obvious and it's a lock and it's juiced already and shit. And then somehow it's a war that goes 15 minutes. I can see it now. You know, a fucking co-main event, absolute war between two fucking aging veterans. I mean, the UFC put this as a co-main for. I know it's a shitty Apex card, but this is a co-main for a reason. I think the UFC expects fireworks. I think the UFC expects a finish. But yeah, man, I can definitely see Billy getting his game going. Diego slowing down 2-3, slowing down massively in 2-3, and the looks have just not been great. You know, once Diego starts to slow down, if you start putting some damage on him in 2-3, he has not looked great, you know, lately. Even back in the day, it was similar scenes, you know, him kind of wilting under pressure late in fights. And that's what Billy does best, I think, still, even at this age, and even though he's kind of past his prime. If he survives round one in this fight, I think round two, round three can get dark for a guy like Diego Ferreira. So, I don't know, man. Like under 2.5. I mean, on some exchanges, you can get some good prices like minus 150. DraftKings under 2.5 is minus 166. That's a good price comparative to the market. I don't know. And, you know, on books like DraftKings minus 166 under 2.5 that not doesn't go the distance is close to minus 300. Like that's a big gap for 2.5 minutes, and I think that is indicative and just shows the equity that Billy has super late in this fight. You know, even the last 3 or 4 minutes of this fight, I think there's a lot of equity in there for Billy. So I think I want to take some just more plus money shots like Diego round one. I can get plus 340. Billy Quarantillo round three. I can get plus 1400. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like Billy Quarantillo round three KO. Like what's that? Let me check that real quick. I really gotta fucking go, man. We're gonna get to the main event though. So Quarantillo round 3 KO. It's just almost the same. Too close. I would just play round 3 as 14-1. That's kind of how I want to play this fight. I don't know if I'll get to an under, just because of the price. But yeah, I think Diego can definitely hurt Billy. Diego's the much better submission grappler, much more power in his hands than a guy like Billy. Billy excels the later the fight goes, attritional, pacing motherfuckers. Diego excels early in fights with his power and with his grappling, and I think that could work against a guy like Billy, man. Especially coming off knee surgery, 2 years out of the octagon, it takes one mistake versus a guy like Diego. So that's kind of where my mind is at. Diego round 1 plus 340, Billy round 3 under 2.5. That's kind of where my mind is at. All right, man. Let's get to this main event. Before we do, appreciate you guys for watching. I haven't really been keeping up with viewers or chats. I'm trying to speed through this shit, but I don't give a shit if there's one person watching, 1,000 people watching. I'm very appreciative to be doing this for you guys. You guys make this happen. If I've been getting for a brand new channel, what I feel like is a very good, very decent amount of love on the YouTube. So I'm very grateful for all of it. And as long as you guys want it, I'm gonna do it. You guys allow me to do this shit, so I'm grateful for it. If you're watching on YouTube live or on playback, hit that like. Well, first of all, I appreciate you for making it this fucking far. But yeah, hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube. Road to 100 subscribers, man. I forgot to mention that. I think we're like 8 or 9 subscribers away from 100, so that's a big milestone for me. Hit that subscribe button. Get your boy to 100 followers or 100 subscribers. I would very much appreciate that shit. And yeah, hit that like button, man. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Let's talk about this main event. Get you guys out of here. Great main event. Mateusz Gamrot versus Quinlan Salkild. Current odds: Quinlan minus 135 to minus 140. The comeback on Mateusz is plus 120. I played Quinlan money line in the spot. I got minus 135. I also played Quinlan round 2, 3, or 4 KO at plus 500 on FanDuel. Yeah, man, it's obviously tough spot for Quinlan. Toughest guy he's ever faced. By far the best wrestler he's ever faced. So I wish I had more time to talk about this fight, but I don't. So yeah, big step up for Quinlan, and the market is giving him respect. It's not like we're getting a plus money number for a giant step up in competition. But nonetheless, man, I think Quinlan has the skills to finally crack Gamrot's chin, man. He gets 5 rounds to do it. Yeah, I know people want to say, oh, he slowed down versus the fucking, Ashmoose and all of that shit. But, I mean, he shot like 25 takedowns. It was a relentless pace in that fight. He gassed out from fucking up Ashmoose. You know what I'm saying? So, I can kind of not give him a pass, but you give him some credence. You know what I'm saying? He didn't death gas by any means. And he fucked him up and shot 25 times. So, I'd rather you slow down by doing shit than slow down by getting fucked up or not doing anything and still gassing. I think his cardio is there. I mean, it's going to be tested in ways that has never been tested before, especially in a 5-round fight. But I think he has the cardio, long-range weapons, nasty and close. And on the Mateusz side, I mean, we've seen him. It's kind of like a characteristic of his now. Everybody mentions this shit, how much he gets dropped and rocked. Still hasn't been KO, which is remarkable. But there's only so many times you can go before suffering your first KO loss, and I think that's coming very soon, maybe even in the 24-hour time span. You know what I'm saying? So I think Quinlan has a very good chance to do so. We've seen how versatile Quinlan is on the feet. This is a guy that started as a wrestler. He has a wrestling base, grappling base. We've seen him shoot double-digit takedowns multiple times already in the UFC. That's his base. But he is a very skilled striker too. Obvious power in his hands and in his legs. That devastating head kick KO against Nasrat. Just legendary shit. So very versatile striker to go along with the wrestling grappling. I don't think the move is to wrestle grapple offensively with Gamrot, but I think having that shit in your bag, especially the grappling, is going to help him create enough space, allow him to get up, allow him to thwart some of Gamrot's attacks. And yeah, man, Gamrot is getting fucking chinned by everybody. Again, the conditioning and the recoverability is good enough where he survives, but It's only a matter of time, man. And we've also seen Gamrot struggle with long, rangy guys. You know, Dan Hooker fight. Say what you want, split decision, very close fight. Doesn't matter who you thought won. You know, at 2024, people were already, it's 2 years ago, but people were already saying that Dan Hooker is kind of past it. You know what I'm saying? And to have a fight like that versus Dan, where yes, he controlled chunks of that fight, but he also got dropped bad in that fight. You know, he also did not look great on his back foot. Same thing with the fucking the Jalen Turner fight. Again, Jalen is kind of an anomaly how big and how rangy he is, but that was also a very very close fight. Another long rangy striker. Um, those are the two things that I think are going to give him the most trouble in this fight: the long rangy frame of Quinlan, and the fact that I think Mateus is a much worse fighter on the back foot than he is on the front foot. And Quinlan loves putting guys on the back foot. Quinlan, on the other hand, I think is very good on the back foot. I think he's great on the front foot. I think he's great on the back foot. I think he's very versatile in those ways. Gamrot, I don't think is good on the back foot. So I think those are the keys to this fight. I think Gamrot's little bitty baby chin gets exposed again. This time, I think it ends in a finish. You know, 9-year age gap. You know, Quinlan 9 years younger. I think it's seven. I think it's 6+ years or 7+ year age gap. The younger fighter wins 2/3 of the time. So we got that going for us. Almost a 5-inch reach advantage, 2-inch height advantage. All of those things I think are very important. Quinlan's versatility, long range attacks. You know, him having enough in his wrestling grappling bag. Good enough cardio. Ability to fight off the back foot. His ability to put Gamrot on the back foot. I think those are all going to be things that not only win him this fight, but allow him to truly make a fucking statement inside of the Apex. So I respect Gamrot a ton. You know, I bet him in his last fight. Obviously, that looks like a great bet against Ribovitz. And people are, for some reason, people are comparing Ribovitz to Quinlan. Like, Quinlan is not even comparable, man. Quinlan is a wrestler, grappler at base. Ribovitz is a striker. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not compare. Oh well, Gamrot absolutely wrestle fucked the shit out of him. Why can't he do the same thing with another striker? Like, yes, Quinlan looks like a striker at times, but I think just extremely well-rounded, man. Way more well-rounded than a guy like Gamrot. So yeah, man, I think that's enough advantages to not the best price in the world. I don't think you're getting the best kind of value for a step up in competition, but just enough, in my opinion, that I did play the money line -135. I think that itty bitty baby chin gets exposed, and like I said, Quinlan makes a statement. So yeah, man, that does it. UFC Vegas 120. Like I said at the top, man, not the best card in the world, but doesn't fucking matter. I'm excited anytime. We got fights every fucking week. Yeah, I'm excited anytime we have fights on a Saturday. I'm grateful for it. So appreciate you guys for watching. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to. That always fucking happens somehow. But yes, very much appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Check out the links in the description, man. Like I said, I opened up brand new premium betting community just yesterday. So check that out. Big announcement video to go with it. Watch that on my Twitter. Think about joining Club Finesse, one of the best investments you'll ever make in your betting journey. And that's where you get all of my official plays, not only for the UFC, for MLB, which is still in full swing. NFL's coming up. So hit that link now. Invest in your sports betting journey. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe on your way out. And I will see you guys when I see you.